pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, roll call. Matt Vaughn.
Here.
Bill Ettinger. Here. Misty Ettinger.
Here.
Lloyd Eulings.
Absent.
Amy Beers.
Absent.
Okay. And we motion to open up for public comment.
Make motion.
I'll second it.
Do you want that collection?
This is my personal one. We received $20 from Mary Dean. And $39.75 from a collection that was taken up for us.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
I wanted to say we're going to have a community picnic Sunday, July 31st, probably around 11:30. You can bring your own side dish if you like, but not necessary. But if you want alcohol, you bring your own alcohol.
Okay.
And everybody's welcome. 11:30, 12 o'clock-ish.
Are you going to
Where are you going to do that?
advertise for that, or?
Yeah, I have to make flyers. It's going to be at the pavilion.
Yeah.
And everybody's welcome. We encourage to come and join in. There'll be probably hamburgers, hot dogs, and possibly corn on the cob and whatever else.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
And then bring a dish to pass.
Yeah, I did say it, but not necessary, but appreciate it. Side
Yeah.
dish.
I won't be here for that. Can I send like a dessert or something to your house?
Yep. Thank you.
All right. Now the reading of the 7/7/2016 meeting minutes.
7/7/16, Highland Township Home Rule Commissioners meeting was held at the Highland Municipal Building at 1900 hours. Present was Amy Beers, Misty Ettinger, William Ettinger, John Gurris, Lloyd Hewlings. Absent was Matt Vaughn. Public comment period was opened by Chairperson John Gurris. Donation of $20 was received by Mary Dean. Donation of $60 received by That Natural Store. $15 was received from Dunk Tank proceeds from the Recreational Committee car show booth. Minutes from June 2nd were read by, there is an issue, June 23rd. Read by Misty Ettinger. John Gurris made a motion to accept the minutes as read. Bill Ettinger seconded. Commission voted 6 yes, 0 no. Motion 5 yes, 0 no. Motion passed. Treasurer's report general fund was $19.75 after that was what was left after our bills were paid. Agenda John Gurris made motion to accept the agenda. Amy Beers seconded. Commissioners voted 5 yes, 0 no. Motion passed. Reminders and announcements. John Gurris stated that all Home Rule Study Commission communications are public and discoverable. The HRSC will follow Robert's Rules of Order for conducting minutes. Old business. Study questions were consolidated and a report was read by Misty Ettinger and Amy Beers. Group Study Commission agreed that this is a general consensus of the group. Public outreach and education was discussed. It is agreed that a mailing would be done and sent out. New business, Misty Edinburgh would like Group Study Commission set up a meeting with the Highland supervisors to ask them questions on their positions. John Gurst made a motion to ask the supervisors for this meeting, either July 18th or 19th at 7 p.m. Bill Edinburgh seconded. The study commission voted 5 yes, 0 no. John Gurst will ask the supervisors at their next monthly meeting. Hearing date was discussed. Bill Edinburgh made motion to have a public hearing on July 31st at 2 o'clock p.m. at the Highland Municipal Building. Amy Beers seconded. Commissioners voted 5 yes, 0 no. Motion passed. Amy Beers and Misty Edinburgh will prepare a slideshow. John Gurst will introduce us. Misty Edinburgh will get with CellDef and ask them if they can have a representative here. Vacancy on the board was discussed. To date, there have been no responses to our advertisements. Stacy Long from Grant Township is available for a conference call on July 21st. Everyone is asked to have questions ready for this call. Misty Edinburgh will confirm the time. Final public comment period was held. Suggestions on public outreach and education was discussed and what that should include. Adjournment with no other immediate business on the table. Misty Edinburgh made motion to adjourn meeting. Bill Edinburgh seconded. Commissioners voted 5 yes, 0 no. Motion carried.
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll
Second it.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make the motion.
I second it.
Reminders, all communications are public and discoverable, and meeting conduct will be Robert's rules. We're going to go over old business. Make a motion to talk about the vacancy.
To date, I don't think we've received any communications from anybody in letter form for communication. So I think we should appoint a person to fill that vacancy.
I'll second that motion.
Do we have any candidates? Or
I make a motion to appoint Judy Rossetti to our vacancy.
I second that.
Will you accept it?
I'll accept it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Cool beans.
Now, make a motion to discuss about the public hearing. For example, like who's saying what at the hearing and
Okay.
type of advertising.
Our public hearing, I do have a slideshow prepared.
Okay.
JP, you got to
Yeah,
see that
I seen it.
slideshow. You were there most of the time when I was creating it. I can either let everybody here review it now if we want. It's only 8 minutes long. Or we can go through it. I think having it reviewed here would be a great thing.
Okay.
There is, if you see any spelling errors, that kind of stuff, please let me know. I do need the P.O. box for the township building, if anybody knows that. And
Right there.
505.
505. And our public email address that you have for us.
Highland Township Home Rule at Comcast.com.
Can you write that down?
Comcast.net.
And that's just a email.
It's our
Okay.
public
Because
email.
I typed it in on the website and I just got like YouTube videos, but I didn't realize it was an email.
Does anybody have a newsletter? I don't remember if it's Township or TWP. I can't remember which I used.
Yeah, I had one. I don't think I
There's
did.
still some on the table back there.
Okay, this is what we've prepared so far. And each one, we'll be discussing this as we go through it. JP, I thought we could introduce our commissioners.
Okay.
and then I'll put the current vacant position with Judy in there. This is what we're about. It says the Home Rule Charter, the Government Study Commission shall study the form of government of the municipality, compare it with other available forms under the laws of the Commonwealth, and determine whether or not, as in the judgment, the government could be strengthened or made more clearly responsible. Let me go back. Hold on. It goes a little fast. Okay. The Government Study Commission shall study the form of government, the municipality, compare it with other forms under the available laws of the Commonwealth, and determine whether or not, in its judgment, the government could be strengthened or made more clearly responsible or accountable to the people, or whether its operation could become more economical or efficient under a changed form of government. Get this started again. Oh, I'm pushing the wrong button.
People can't see it, they can come up and sit here, the ones that wanna watch it.
I said JP will introduce us, and each time when we're introduced, we'll tell a little bit about each other, why we're here, what our motivation is to do this. This explains to people what our job is according to the state law. No, I'm not trying to read it. It's going to slow down. This is our timeline of what we've done so far. When we first got our vote, when we were sworn in, all the way up till the 31st. And this explains to people what an actual home rule charter is, because I think there's a lot of confusion in the public on what our job is, what we're trying to achieve. And that's what this is explaining. Is we're essentially, a charter is essentially a constitution for the township, replacing the second township code under which the township is currently operating. This gives us just an overview summary of what we may address as a home rule study. You know, such things as like forms of government, the structure of government, the operations and procedures, and any legislative actions, and how anything of each one of those are handled. We can address those. Doesn't mean we have to address them in our charter. These are the slides of what we may not address. Like we can't address assessment of property, statewide laws, boundary changes, election laws. There's certain laws that we cannot address in our charter, and that's explaining that. This is going to tell us what we've learned so far, and what this is a composition of those questions that we had went over at our last meeting, and the answers to those questions. A lot of it's kind of wordy, so it'll be slowed down when we do our presentation. I bolded a few of the things where the voters are responsible, allowing the very citizens of Highland to make decisions instead of minority representation. And it gives examples of how the minority represented the majority, such as like the last township supervisor appointment was done by a judge, not by the voters, that kind of stuff. That we should be able to address maybe in the charter, where we don't have to wait for a decision from Elk County. We can make our own decisions. We are all adults. How could the second class township form be economical? This explains, like I said, our last meeting when we went over all those questions. That's just the question and the answer in there. Same with that, just the question and the answer. What does the second class township code differ from other governing documents such as the Pennsylvania Constitution, the U.S. Constitution? Declaration of Independence showed where we thought there was differences between that. And asked us if we think that the code provides for the needs and desires of the community. And we had a general consensus that no, we don't believe that it best represents the principles of our democratic society. The relationship between the state and Highland Township is outlined in the code. Who wrote the code and what did they have in mind? That was our question and answers. More questions and answers. Relationship of the code to the rights of those living in Highland Township. Explains the difference between that. The code that gives Highland Township residents does the code give the Highland Township residents tools they need to determine the future of Highland? Again, and this just kind of summarizes up everything. Again, we read this at the last meeting, our whole study. And this is some of the things that I thought, according to our study, what we might want to change. Like the structure, the current structure is the name of an elected official. It was currently supervisors. It'll stay as supervisors. I don't think we plan on changing that.
No.
Their term of office, I don't believe we plan on changing that.
No.
How they're put into office, I believe we do plan on changing that, making sure that we make the decisions, not some judge in Out County makes the decisions, that kind of stuff. This is it, and it goes pretty fast. I talked to Chad about it at SALDEF, and we know it goes pretty fast. So we're going to slow that way down so it's not flipping through so quickly, and we'll have time to explain our slideshow presentation to everyone. So, but that's what we've got compromised so far, put together so far. We'll get the rest of it just fine-tuned, get our time slowed down so we can explain stuff.
Excellent work.
I have an idea. I mean, would this be a good idea to get? I've been to seminars before and things, and I actually received one of these. Would this be okay, something that we could hand out?
See, that's what I thought too, is JP's got here is a copy of our slideshow in each one of our slides. And it gives, over here, he gives the opportunity to make notes on each one of those slides. And we were talking, he was just saying if we handed, made copies of this to hand out at that public meeting, then the people who may not be able to see it, or if I went too fast, maybe they want to take notes. So when we open up our public session the next time, they can.
They'd have some input to give back to.
Right. This kind of report will allow them, places to write notes and take action, that kind of stuff. So when, we open up that comment, they can come back and talk about it.
And were we thinking of like breaking it down into sections where people, one of the commissioners, each get a turn at, going over the key points of whatever slide we're on, where they're pointed to?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter to me if we think we one of us should read a section. I mean, that's fine.
I think JP should maybe introduce us and who we are, and let each one of us, explain who we are, what our motivations are, that kind of stuff. Maybe have SALDEF go through the law, the very law of it, and what that kind of means. That way, if anybody has any questions, they're getting it right from, the attorney. Our timeline, I can go over our timeline, what we've done up to this point. In, again, with this, SALDEF explaining maybe what the home rule charter is. Because I do believe that there's a lot of confusion there, and we should spend a lot of time on what it is and what we've been doing for the last couple of months. Because I don't think that's actually put out there
There's a lot of people misunderstanding what it's actually about.
And again, this is more of the laws, what we may address, what we may not address. Because I know a lot of people are coming up saying that, they've heard that we're splitting Highland Township into, 3 or 2, and that's not the case. We can't even address boundaries. That's not even what we're in for. So I think, maybe if the CELDF attorney maybe explains some of those rules, we'll be better off. And these are our questions and answers, and I think each one of us should, take the time to, read the question and our collective answer, kind of like Amy and I did at the last meeting, but go around and have, anybody who's willing to
Have to live on it.
do that. And that's a lot of reading for one person. So I'll do, I'll do maybe the first 2 slides of this part. Anybody else want to do any?
How many slides are there?
There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
22.
there's 9 of those question and answer slides. Where we asked the question and then each one of us answered it. There's 9 of those.
Okay.
So we each do 2. That would
Yeah.
cover.
That's a good idea.
And maybe we could just hit on the key points that, well, those are questions and answers, but
The
Look
key
on the
points
other-
of our answers,
yeah,
because everybody will have a copy.
right.
Okay. This is the one that I need to kind of, I'm sorry, I don't mean to,
Oh, I've already seen that.
okay. Like what we might change, possible future structure, what's current or supervisors, possible future, they'll still be supervisors. Term of office will remain the same. The numbers of elected officials will stay the same. The residency required will stay the same. Our tax collector stay the same, 1 elected for a full-year term. The failure to adopt a budget. I know right now currently the second-class township code is silent on that. So if our supervisors failed to adopt a budget, it would kind of gridlock the township because there's no direction for them to go in. And, things like that is where the second-class township code, I think, fails. It's when there's lack of direction. So I put in there prior year budget and taxation effective. If they can't pass a budget for, say, 2017, the 2016 is in there until,
Till they have the allotted time to amend it.
right.
What is it, February? I have to look the book.
I'm not real sure. I'm sure the
It's-
auditors would be able to answer that question.
Yeah, it's in,
But it's completely silent if they, we have a reputation of our supervisors being gridlocked and not being able to make a decision. If one of those things would happen to be the budget, it wouldn't stop our township from operating with this kind of a change. Ordinance proposal,
Excuse
and
me, have they ever not passed the budget?
I'm not sure if they've never passed the budget. I do know that they've been unable to make decisions in the past.
Was that because there was only 2 supervisors at the time?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well then, there's your problem, because you do have to have 3 supervisors.
but as long as they make a quorum, as long as the 2 make a quorum, they can get anything done they want to.
Yeah,
And what Misty's saying is just in case something, God forbid, happens, that we run into the same problems that we did and we have 2 supervisors of conflicting interests, at least we'll have a budget in place where we can still work. And if somebody is there and does get voted back in, and we have a quorum, they have the time to do that. That's just giving the township a place to work on.
Because currently, like the state of Pennsylvania, if they don't pass the budget in the time allotted, it literally shuts down the state.
for a time, yeah.
For a time. Highland Township should not be subject to that. If we can stop Highland Township from shutting down, by putting something like this in our home rule, I think maybe we should.
Because another example is when there was only the two supervisors, them two couldn't come up with a decision between the both of them on what to do on anything. Pay bills, pay this, pay that, because there wasn't a third one.
Right, if there's ever that
And
time, then we have something to go back
They
on.
they had to wait another month to go to the judge, and then another month after that for the judge to make the decision.
I think that's an excellent point because it streamlines things easier.
Yeah, gives them
And
something to go on.
the reason we're making these, like these points, as far as the PowerPoint, is for the community to go ahead and put their input in. So if you had any other ideas, you could also suggest those, and we could weigh all that as well. This isn't going to be the charter. I mean, these are examples.
Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah, it's a possibility of what we could do with the home rule charter. Not what we're going to, but what we could.
Right.
Right.
Currently, an ordinance proposal and passage that may be proposed and passed at the same meeting.
It's almost 7:30.
Yeah, 3 minutes.
Unless an emergency ordinances cannot be passed and proposed at the same meeting, they need to actually think about some of the stuff that they're putting in. Not that they don't currently do it, but I don't think something as big as an ordinance should be able to be brought up and passed on the same day. So I put that in there. Voters need to pass votes needed to pass an ordinance or resolution. Or currently, we need 2. I don't see where there's a real change. It needs as long as we have a quorum. Structure item: a vacancy on the board. Currently, if the 2 remaining supervisors cannot decide, the Court of Common Pleas appoints somebody. Possible futures: a vacancy will be filled by the 2 remaining supervisors until the next general election time. Then it will be placed on the ballot. If they cannot make an unanimous decision on the office, remains empty until the next general election. And I think we had talked about that way earlier, and that's where I got that information. So that way Highland is not stuck
Like they were for
like we
5
have
months,
been
but they
twice
couldn't
in
make
the
any
last 3 years.
decisions in 5 months
Yeah.
because they didn't have a third supervisor because them two couldn't make up their mind what they wanted to do.
And then any other issues facing Highland Township, maybe I didn't come up with everything, and of course I didn't come up with everything, and somebody says, well, hey, what about this? That's when this time would be allotted.
Okay.
And JP, do you want to do these 2 slides since you're pretty good explaining tonight?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we have a 7:30 phone call appointment. Okay. So let's see if right now we're going to call Grant Township. Hopefully everybody can hear. Tom, do you want to move the speaker closer here? See if we can do this here. Can everybody hear okay?
Hello?
Hello, Stacy.
Yes,
This is Misty from Highland. How are you?
I'm all right. How are you?
We're pretty good.
Can you hear me pretty good?
I think we can hear it. You're on speakerphone.
Oh, good.
Yeah, we're in the middle of our group study commission meeting.
How's it going?
I think it's going okay. We were just going through our slideshow for our public hearing that we're going to have on the 31st.
Wow.
Yeah, so we're moving along pretty good.
Okay.
So I think some of the commissioners have a couple of questions for you.
Okay.
I know one of mine is for your first public hearing. Did you have any problems getting people there?
Nope.
They just came, huh?
Well, we sent out postcards. We crafted postcards and snail mailed them to every voter or every taxpayer in the township.
Okay. About how many people did you have at your first public hearing?
Oh dear. I'm gonna say 40, 45, 50.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
You're about the same size as us in resident-wise, all right?
No, you guys are at 400. We're at about 700.
Oh, so you're about twice as size as we are.
I know, and you probably get a lot more than that at your meetings. Chad says your meetings are well attended.
Our township meetings are well attended, not so much our home rule. Tonight there's 6 people in the audience, and 4 of us commissioners are here tonight.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of misunderstanding in our township of exactly what the home rule is.
Oh, yeah. There was that in our township as well.
So how did you combat that? How did you make people get educated?
It was hard. Most people still don't understand it. I don't mind telling you. Everyone in the township elects other people in the township to do a job that benefits the township, and it doesn't cost anything. It doesn't cost the township any money. And, that's how we all got elected the first time.
Right.
We told people, if you vote no, then we're not going to get a chance to do any work, and you're not going to be able to see what we could offer. And that was pretty much what got people in. But then on the second one, we had 2 public hearings. You have to do the one because that's the law.
Yep.
But we did a second one. And at the second one, we actually had drafts of the charter ready to pass out. And we went through the charter, paragraph by paragraph in plain English. And we explained to people, look, this is what you're voting on. And most people in our township liked the charter. They liked what they read.
And how long has Grant Township been a home rule municipality?
Not even a year yet. We won that election in November.
Okay. And
So this coming November, it will be a year.
Okay, so within the last 10 months or anything, has home rule had to make you raise your taxes because of this charter, or had any adverse effects on the property owners?
Absolutely none. None. Zero. Home rule is not about that anyway. I mean, it can be if that's what the people in the township want, but who wants that?
Yeah, nobody
Who
wants their
to have your
taxes.
taxes raised, or your property values raised unfairly.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, that's not what it's about at all. Not at all. The big fear in our township was there was a rumor going around that we were going to take away people's burn barrels. To this day, we have no idea where that started.
Yeah.
We're rural communities, and garbage day does not exist. Why would we take your burn barrels? That doesn't make any sense.
We had a rumor going around that they were going to take away, there wasn't going to be any dogs allowed in Highland Township.
Oh my goodness. Where does this stuff go? Oh my goodness. That's rich.
People really think a lot of stuff up.
Yeah.
So
Wow. Yeah.
I think one of our commissioners, Bill Ettinger, has a question for you.
I have a question for you, Stacy. You're a supervisor, am I correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Has this home rule charter or any of the home rule study commission had any effect on the way the township runs or ran at all? Any kind of effect on the township does the home rule commission have?
The Government Study Commission only has one job, and that is to study the current system of government that runs Highland Township. That's what their job is. And then once you do the work, however long it takes you, be it, a couple months, a year, 10 months, whatever. And then once you present your work and you let your constituents or you let the township people vote on it, then the Government Study Commission is disbanded. There's no more Government Study Commission. You're all done.
Okay.
You're all gone.
The second question that I had
You
was...
did the job, and then you're done.
Okay, the second question I have, it has actually no effect the way the township is run, right? With you being a supervisor and on the study commission also, it has no effect the way the township runs.
Like you can still pay your bills on a timely basis and run your township, get your roads plowed, and
Oh, yeah, definitely. Well, in our township, I'm not sure what you guys are seeing, for Highland Township, what you guys are missing and what you want to propose, in your home rule charter. But where I live in Grant Township, what we decided was best for Grant Township is we kept our the second class township code. We kept it. Grant Township still has a board of 3 supervisors. I was not elected as one of those just yet. I was only a government study commissioner at the time. And we had our home rule charter, which was an 8-page document that we, 7 government study commissioners, worked on. And those 2 documents, the book, the pink book, and our 8-page document, are now the law of Grant Township. And the stuff in our charter was, we gave our residents a Bill of Rights. We stated plainly what every citizen in Grant Township has the right to do and to protect and to defend. And we put in a provision for special township meetings. So if a resident has a concern, they could call a meeting. This was all stuff we felt was good for Grant Township and the people who live here. I'm not sure what you guys have, worked on and found what's lacking in the second-class township code for Highland Township residents. Does that make sense? Did I answer your question?
you did.
Yes, you did.
Yeah. So you can, your government study commission may say, because we felt for the day-to-day operations in Grant Township, having a board of 3 supervisors who, take care of, the hiring of the people who plow the roads and order the gravel and having a secretary and all that. There's nothing wrong with that. That works for us. So there's no reason to throw it out. We're keeping it.
That's the same way with Highland.
Same way with us. And because there's been a lot of rumors going around, that's why I asked the question, is because there's a lot of rumors going around, them saying that we're going to throw the supervisors out, we're going to do all of this stuff, and that's not what we're doing. That's why I asked you the questions about, did it affect the township at all?
Yeah, that obviously isn't going to work in a rural township.
Right.
Somebody somewhere has to run the municipal building
Exactly.
and make sure, the roads are being plowed and the gravel's ordered and the bills are being paid. So, being that I live rurally too, we had the same rumors in our township. Our township thought that the 7 government study commissioners were going to start running the township.
Yeah.
That's the way it is here. That's what a lot of people are thinking.
Yeah. And I think a lot of that is just government distrust anyway. And a lot of the people who were spreading those rumors never came to a meeting.
Yes.
They never bothered to figure out what we were doing. It was like you wanted to tell these people, look, we live here too,
Yep.
Why would we work to make something worse for everybody? That's not, why would we, if we raise taxes, we're raising taxes on, our 7 heads too.
Yep.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. We live here. We want it to be the best it can be. We want it to be better. Home rule is better than just running by the pink book.
I agree.
That's what we started calling it, the pink book.
The pink book.
That's all the questions I have for you. I think there's a couple other ones that have questions too for you.
Our next
Do you
one.
feel better? Did I get you?
Yes, you did. You answered that perfectly.
Okay, I'm glad. I'm still here, so shoot.
Our next one would be JP, John Paul. He has the next question for you.
Yeah, the rights, the Bill of Rights for the people. That's also in our like the U.S. Constitution. Is that why did you guys figure that you needed that?
Well, because there isn't one in the second-class township code. The second-class township code just outlines, how you run a municipality, and not even how you run a municipality that's really, 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 really small. If you go, well, and I'm sure all of you have read that pink book,
Yeah.
setting up how you do a hospital or a police force or
Right.
where you space your fire hydrants. None of that worked for us. But what we thought would be valuable was, if the township is made up of people, let's define those rights. Because the Bill of Rights, as you know, in the Constitution, is a really powerful document. It really makes you feel good about things, and why not? The charter can be, it can't be whatever you want it to be, but we felt a Bill of Rights was progressive and strong and good for Grant Township residents, so we included one.
And my other question was, in order for people to be able to protect those rights, you have you put into your charter like referendum and initiative.
Yes. Oh, yeah. But that's the beauty of home rule anyway. That's what home rule would give your constituents. That important things could come up on ballot, and they could get suggested to get put on ballot, and people can vote yes or no. And it's really what democracy is about. Did the majority of the people of Highland want this? Yes or no? And you find out if they show up and vote.
Right. So basically, the 3 supervisors would always have their vote, but also, in addition, people would have a vote on issues as well.
Yes. And usually it's not like, because we did have that, and I felt that was a good question. A couple residents were worried that, like, every ton of gravel that was ordered at Grant Township had to be, like, a public decision. And it was like, no. No. This is big stuff. And for Grant Township, the big stuff was, if someone who lives in the township wants to do something on their property that's harmful to the majority of other people who live in the township, then that activity should not be allowed. And, for us, of course, there was an injection well. And we specified that in our charter in a number of places.
And my third question is you also put in your charter emergency meetings,
Yes.
and what type of emergency? What would be considered an emergency? Would you say?
Well, for instance, let's say, well, you know how your monthly township meeting is only like the beginning of the month.
Right.
And let's pretend we use the example of like a sludge farm, because Grant Township does not have that. And, the current threat is an injection well, but there's really nothing that would stop a sludge farm from coming in. So let's say a sludge farm was proposed to come in, and, the monthly meeting had been like a week prior. If someone wanted to call a township meeting, they could. And, it could be proposed to the Board of Supervisors, like, look, we're doing this emergency meeting, and we want you to consider passing an ordinance, protecting the township from the effects of sludge farming. That would be one instance. Like if another corporate harm or another bad thing was coming to Grant Township and it needed to be dealt with, that and the monthly township meeting had already passed. So that's one instance. Another instance would be, say for instance, in Grant Township, of course, we kept our 3 supervisors. What if this, because, the supervisors can still pass ordinances and they don't have to have, a vote from the majority of the people who live in the township. But let's say, what if the Board of Supervisors passed an ordinance that maybe a group of people in the township were not thrilled about? So those people could petition and get a township meeting going and then present to the board look, you passed this ordinance and we don't like it. And then, you know, and then we'd be like, well, if the majority of the people of Grant Township don't like that ordinance, then out it goes.
That's the same way with if they want to get rid of an ordinance. Because right now in ours, the 3 township supervisors are the only ones that decide whether they can get rid of or make an ordinance without the public's information on it. So that'll give the rights back to the people, saying whether to get rid of one or to make one available.
Yes, exactly. That is it exactly.
And then you don't have to actually wait for the next
Right.
election as well.
Right. It could be called up anytime. Now, in our charter, there's like a whole procedure, you know, for, you know, having the room vote and the majority of the numbers and how many petitions, and we have that all spelled out in our charter.
Yeah, I read that. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you did? Yeah.
Yeah, I read that. Yeah.
Yeah. But we did that as, you know, that's how they used to do it. You know, a group of people would get together at the community center, their municipal building, and they would talk over these important things, and, you know, people would have their say. It wouldn't just be, you know, 3 people deciding everything. It would be a room full of people or a parking lot full of people or whoever showed up.
Well, recently we just had to wait 5 months for a 3rd supervisor to be appointed by a judge because the 2
I
supervisors.
heard about that for you guys.
Now, would you, if that happened in Grant Township, could that be taken care of under an emergency township meeting?
If the right kind of petition were circulated, I don't see why it could. I could see where a resident would say, I petition to have this person be appointed. And, you know, if there were enough people to vote, then I suppose that could happen. I'm not quite sure how that would work because it's, you know, I would have to think about that one.
It's driven by the
But-
citizens, yeah.
Could they call
That
for
might be a
an
good Chad question too, because I think under the second class township code, 2 supervisors can appoint a 3rd.
Correct.
Yeah, but that was the dilemma. They
That's-
weren't
that's
able
the
to for
dilemma
5
you have.
months. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
don't you have?
Our vacancy board wasn't
Yeah.
filled due
That's
to
a good thing to bring up.
They couldn't make a decision
And think
on
about-
the vacancy board either.
Could they have an emergency?
But what you could do as well is if you had some sort of thing written into your charter about how, you know, the residents could get together and petition the board of supervisors on what they wanted, you know, then maybe the people could appoint who they want. Well, the people would be doing the majority of the people in Highland would be making that call.
Right, so it's people driven.
That would be
Right.
like an appointment for until the next general election, not an election, because as a home rule, we can't make decisions on how elections are ran and when they are ran, correct?
That's correct, yeah. Yeah, that's why I'm thinking that one might be a little dicey. But if you had an emergency township meeting and you had, like, I don't know, 200 people in Highland Township show up at your building and say, you know, look, the judge, we don't like the third pick. I'm not quite sure what you would do with that, but that would make some sort of noise. Obviously, the hamster in my head is spinning, and I'm like trying to.
Well, the point was
That
is-
may be a question for. Did you guys get a consultant
yeah, Selda.
to help you out?
The consultant we have is Chad Nicholson and Seldef.
Yeah, you may want to ask Chad about that.
So how would we go? Okay.
Are you guys working on possibly having some sort of thing like that, an emergency town meeting or
Well,
some sort of?
we've just got like a rough outline of if we decide to do this. We haven't actually made the decision to write our charter or not yet. We're
Okay.
still in that study phase.
Okay.
Our final decision will come after the July 31st public hearing.
Oh, okay.
But we do have
Okay.
an outline of things that are working for Highland and things that aren't working for Highland. And one of the things that aren't working for Highland is, a vacancy on the Board of Supervisors, because 2 times in the last 3 years, Highland Township has been stuck without a third supervisor.
Wow.
So,
Well, it may be then that, part of your jobs as government study commissioners, that's definitely something that Highland Township needs for itself, is some sort of procedure where the people have more power in who that third supervisor gets to be.
Exactly.
Is it because
Well,
the workload is too difficult, or?
no, it's because my personal opinion is nobody can agree on anything out here.
yeah, the other supervisors would not make a choice for a third supervisor.
Yeah, they could not come to a final decision.
So it finally came
Really?
to taking it to the courts and a judge appointing.
Wow.
But I'm
See,
just
here in
saying,
Grant Township, nobody wants the job. I mean, nobody. Everybody just stands around and is like, I don't want that job.
I can't really blame them, because after studying this, I wouldn't want that job either.
It's a lot of work, and it's public service is like, But given the alternative, if you have people running the township who don't have the township's best interests, then you're like, well, okay, I'm going to step up to the plate.
Yep, somebody's got to do it. Absolutely.
I'll figure out how ditches work.
No, I think we covered it.
But I that to me sounds like something you'd want to talk to your consultant about, really, because that could be something that Highland Township needs to have in its charter, is some sort of people demonstration, that shows that people would like to have a say in who the third supervisor gets to be.
Yeah,
Right.
because we went, actually, with both years, we went almost a whole year without 3 supervisors. It's only been
Holy
2,
cats.
and neither one of them can make a decision.
And at times it crippled the township into moving forward and making actual decisions.
Oh my goodness.
So we can't allow Highland Township to be stagnant. The world's
No.
moving too fast to let Highland be stagnant, even for a
Yeah.
few months.
Tracy, Matt Vaughn, you guys didn't write anything in to have an atonement or any ways and balances for the supervisors that are elected, did you? I don't think you did. Because there's really not too much in the second class township code once they are elected, that if they are not performing to the consensus of the number of people in the township, that you can do.
Stace, can you hear Matt?
I got some of that, but not all of it.
You might have
What
to
did
come
Matt
over.
want to know?
Well, I was just saying, anymore, there's not too much written in the second class township book where there's no atonement for a supervisor once they're elected. I mean,
Right.
there's not too much you can do. And I don't think any of that was written, what I read. I don't think you guys written anything like that into your charter. There's any ways and balances that you could actually get a supervisor out of office once they are elected.
Do you mean like impeachment?
Yes, ma'am.
We did go there a little bit. And our consultant was also Chad Nicholson out of Steldiff. And he was saying that impeachment is a slippery thing in Pennsylvania. And it's not something that the state is really into. He said, now, if you feel that this is good for, the township, but he said it will make things a little sticky in how, if you're keeping the second class township code, it's going to be a little sticky.
Okay.
So in the end, we decided that, being home rule was good. And we felt, all the other points, that having that stopgap emergency township meeting provision in our charter, we decided that was probably going to, take care of us. We didn't go for the impeachment thing.
Because you could also look at that to stop. I mean, you actually, if you have an emergency meeting like that, you can actually, if you have the majority, you can actually overrule a decision that's made. That actually makes that's very
Yeah.
good. That's a
But
really good
it
point.
was
ma'am.
actually getting rid,
Yes.
like having someone basically voted off the island.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
okay, supervisor number 2, you no longer have a job because there are 50 people here in the room that say you don't. We didn't go there.
But you can say, hey, supervisor number 2, we don't like what your decision is.
Yes.
So we're overriding that.
Yep. Yep. That's,
thank you very much.
Yep. That's it exactly.
I was just the way she stated that.
And hey, supervisor number 2, look at this room full of people who don't like what you're doing.
Right. Right now
You know,
they
that
have,
accountability was something we really examined hard.
yeah.
You know, like, it is a lot of responsibility running a township, you know.
Right.
But if someone isn't doing a good job in protecting, what's best for the majority of the people who live, where you live, that person needs to be held accountable. And we felt, an emergency meeting in, roomfuls of people would be what would work here in Grant.
Yeah. I agree.
That's all I got.
Okay. Well, does anybody else have any questions for Stacy?
No, but you could invite her to the picnic. On the 31st. Well, I met her. She's really nice.
All right, Stacy, I think you've covered all of our questions. If we have any more, I have your email address.
Oh yeah, anytime you want, because when we were working last summer, that's all we did all summer. There was just so much we would have loved to have asked anybody. So if I can help you at all, I wish you would do that.
I will definitely, anytime we have a question, like I said, I know your email address now.
Yes.
And Marcia, one of our
Oh yeah.
Ladies
Very
out-
fond of Marcia. What a great lady.
she wanted me to extend an invitation to you on the 31st is our public hearing at 2:00, and before then there will be a community cookout.
Aww.
And she wanted me to extend it.
I'm doing an ALS walk that day, but if my family decides we're not doing it, then I will put you in that slot.
Yeah, come up and enjoy the heart of the Allegheny.
I did. I don't know if I met you before. Is this Misty?
This is Misty, yes.
Misty, yeah. I came to a cookout Marcia organized not last summer, but probably the summer before at your fire hall.
Mm-hmm.
I was there for that.
Yeah, I missed that one, so we have not met yet.
Okay. But I got to meet Marcia for the first time. So, your community is really, really cute.
Thank you. We're hoping to keep it that way.
Yeah.
We're fighting
Oh, yeah.
to keep it that way.
And we're all so envious that your tiny town has a water management authority.
We are very lucky for that.
Yes, you are. I mean, I can't imagine. There is not one single person in this township who has anything other than a spring or a well.
Yep. We are extremely lucky we have a municipal authority in James City. That doesn't cover all of Highland, but it does cover James City. We're extremely lucky
it's
for
pretty
that.
Incredible. And I heard that it's really nice water too.
It's beautiful water. They take very good care of it.
Holy cow. Yeah, so I would examine a lot of that in your charter work too. Really, do what you have to do to protect that water for your people.
Yep. Once it's gone, we can't ever get it back. We know that for
Nope.
sure.
That's right. Nobody wants to live where there's no water.
That's right. All right. Well, Stacy, thank you very much for your time. And
It was my pleasure. If you need to include me again, I wish you would.
we definitely will. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, good luck on your study.
Thank you.
Okay, good night.
Good night.
Thanks, Stacy.
She's a really nice lady, and all the people that came to that picnic were really kind and informative.
I think that was
Very
very
informal.
informative.
Yes.
And I like the fact that she's open to being emailed or even conference called again.
Yep.
So that's pretty good.
And that she is a current township supervisor in a township about twice the size of ours. You know, so she knows what it's like to be in a small town. She knows what it's like to deal with exactly the same issues that almost exactly the same issues that we are.
I like her, that was a really good answer she did on the supervisors. The home rule does not affect the way the township is going. That was a good answer.
I wish our supervisors were as involved in Highland as Grant supervisors are involved in Grant.
Yeah.
All right. The next on the agenda, make a motion to talk about advertising for the hearing coming up.
the
We were
hearing.
talking about mailers before.
Yep.
She mentioned that like they did the postcards.
I definitely think if we can get some mailers together really quickly,
Yeah.
then that would be a good way to go to
Okay.
invite the people, because I'm not sure people don't know about these meetings. You know, we're not getting it out far and wide enough.
Right.
I don't read the newspaper, so I would never find out about it in the newspaper.
Right. And I do have our last home rule meeting on Facebook.
I
And
don't do
when I
that
put it
either.
on Facebook, it really, that was the first time
Uh-huh.
that we actually had that kind of response on anything.
That's good though.
It was a massive
Most people
response
are
on
computer
Facebook.
literate, I'm not.
Maybe we should go back and put all the meetings on.
Yep.
And I'll show you.
So we're gonna do the mailers to the voters, just the voters, and is it gonna be in a postcard form, or I mean, when do we want to send this out? Because it's coming up.
Yeah, we have to do it real soon.
Yeah.
Today's 21st. We have 10 days from our public hearing.
And then we're gonna advertise in the paper,
Yep.
Paper, the radio.
radio, right?
I would say do it. And the postcards.
We may have a donation of envelopes coming.
Okay.
I have asked for a donation for envelopes, so that may be coming. So maybe if that donation comes in time, we can use that for our public.
Okay. So you're thinking if we get that, then on Monday, like if we send it out by Monday, that'd give them
Monday?
time to get out.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
We can get it all together, email everybody. If everybody can respond to that email and to approve that.
Okay.
If you could fit it on a postcard, it will be cheaper.
Yeah.
A postcard would be cheaper.
Definitely. Postage is cheaper on a postcard.
Okay. She said something about snail mail.
Yeah,
Something.
that's postcard. That's
Just
post
postcard,
office.
Right. Oh, okay. I got it now. Sonoma. Okay.
Okay.
And then
So I'll put that. I'll get a couple different formats and email everybody.
I can print the postcard.
Okay.
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 So Tom and I will get together.
And Tom, you were saying that
and
you
put
also
that
had
together.
a list of the voters,
Yep.
and
Yep.
there was like 100 of them or something like that.
There's three. I don't really remember how many I have,
Right.
but I have a list of all the voters.
But we're gonna wait to see if we get the donation on the the mails, the envelopes.
If it comes by Monday, otherwise we'll do. If our donation was able to come in by Monday, if not, I make a motion to do the postcards.
I'll second that motion.
Okay. That sounds good. So you're saying you're gonna like I could try make a layout too
Mhm.
as a postcard.
Absolutely.
If anybody wants to try it and just send it to you, said.
Yep, send it to either Tom or Zeddy or I, and we'll get together and get that under control.
Yeah, normally, John, it would be a quarter of a page, quarter of an 8.5 by 11 sheet, We make 4 of them, cut them in quarters, and that's 4 postcards.
Okay. Yeah, I've got that on the computer, that program
Yeah,
that you can make postcards with. Okay.
Do you want to mention both this is for the hearing, right?
Yeah.
That we're talking about?
I know.
The hearing that's here?
Yeah.
Is that what the postcard's for?
Mm-hmm.
And do you want to mention would it be suitable to mention the picnic too?
Okay.
Yeah, that would be from 11. You're saying the picnic would be like
About 11:30 to 2. And then everybody
Okay.
be invited to come to
all right.
inside here to the meeting.
Or if it's too big, we'll just have it in the ball field out there.
Yeah, we can. We'll have to get the fire hall to give us some chairs and tables, but even if it's bad weather, Recreation has canopies and we can get tables and chairs and we'll figure it out.
Make it happen.
We will.
Right on this property. It will. Okay.
All right. Next on the agenda is to go over I made a motion to go over the meeting with the Highland supervisors.
We had our meeting with the Highland supervisors on Monday the 18th. I think the 4 of us were there, along with Lloyd. Amy was out and she was absent for that. My personal opinion is I didn't think that they gave a lot of feedback to us. A lot of their answers were, we'd have to wait to see what a charter is, how your charter is written, and then give feedback. I personally don't feel that we can wait. They are able to give their insight and opinions before a charter is written. If we wait until after a charter is written, we're leaving it open to not having it done in time.
Right.
We've invited them to meetings. We invited them to this meeting.
They were supposed to be here and they haven't showed up.
They haven't been to our meetings. I think we've given them,
Mike actually said he was going to show up this
Yeah.
meeting.
Wolf was that one.
Yeah, Wolf-
Jim
Wolf
was
was at
Jim was
one.
at one.
and I believe that we've given them ample opportunities and will continue to give them ample opportunities to be involved in the writing of the charter. To let them amend the charter after it's written may be a delaying tactic.
One thing that's nice is they took the questions with them, so if they do want to
One,
fill them out,
right,
They
the
can
one
still hand 'em
comment
in.
that I heard, I walked outside and caught a couple comments out there from 2 of the supervisors saying that we probably would have been prepared more if we would have had these questions.
yeah,
So-
that's why I was saying, if they've got the questions now, so if they want to
That's
answer,
one-
they can hand them in.
It
Well, they
wasn't,
have their
walked in-
questions now, and
Yeah.
our charter won't even be decided upon whether we're writing it until after July 31st. That's ample opportunity for them to bring answers to those questions.
The other thing
To
that I
us.
had to, on the meeting with the supervisors, is that they sat over, most of them, one of them was quiet, and the only answer just like the regular meetings, the only answer you get out of them is, I can't answer that. I'm not at liberty to say,
Well, I don't
even
understand.
on his own opinion.
Everybody is entitled to their opinion. Just because you have an opinion doesn't.
No, that's all his
Right.
answer to everything is, I'm not at liberty to say.
Matt, you have anything to say about this interview? Or?
I thought it was pretty bad. And as far as I'm concerned, if we decide to write a charter, it's just going to be like everybody else. I don't think we're longer going to treat them as supervisors. They can be like the public and come up and give us something, because we offered them an all-up branch.
Yes.
We're asking for help. We're asking for guidance to see if something works better for you, the 3 people that are in charge of our township. And nobody seemed to want to make any changes. Everybody, if they're in the head of something, wants to make a change on something.
Or should, if they're doing their job
If
properly.
they're doing their job properly. I'm gonna leave my statement at that.
Yeah, I gotta leave that alone too.
Well, I'm not trying to cover for them, but you know, to have all those questions asked to me and then put on the spot like that, it would be hard to me to answer them fully. But you know, that's just me.
It might be them too.
Yeah. Okay, so I make a motion to go over new business.
I second your motion.
All right, make a motion to talk about the August schedule.
In our last meeting, we decided when our meetings were going to, our regular meetings are going to be. Do we need to, you think we need to add any of that? Anything to that?
To when the meetings will be.
Do we need to add any? We have 3 of them scheduled.
Yeah, but none of them are advertised yet on for the newspaper.
Okay.
The first one's in August is August 4th at the Snow Seekers at 7, and then August 31st at Hyla. Or no, excuse me, August 18th at 7 p.m. at Hyla, and then August 31st at 7 p.m. at the Highland Township building.
Yeah, and a motion was already made and accepted for that
Oh, was it?
on
Okay.
June 23rd.
All right.
Yeah, you made the motion, I seconded it.
Okay.
So that's our schedule for our regular meetings. Do we think we need to add any to them? You think we can get the decision made on the 4th, and if we so choose to write a charter, get it
I think
done in
if
2
we
weeks?
do make our decision to write a charter, that it's gonna go pretty fast, just my personal opinion.
Right.
I don't know about, I mean, Bill, your two guys' opinion. I mean,
Yeah, I think it'll go fast.
I agree.
Cause we're leaving pretty much if we do, we already decided to leave a lot of
No,
it alone.
we haven't decided anything yet.
Yeah, I said, that's what I just said. We haven't decided, and if we do something, we're just gonna
That's
do
your
it and only do a little
opinion.
bit. Yes.
Yeah, because like Stacy was talking about, they had a second hearing, and we wouldn't have time to do that, where they presented their draft to the
Yeah.
constituents.
We have to have it in there by what, September?
before the end of October, definitely, it's September something.
Yeah, it's the beginning of
Yeah.
September. I have it.
I mean, I think a second public hearing for us, in my opinion, isn't gonna work, cause we're gonna have to try and look at it going around door to door again, cause we're not really getting the best feedback.
Okay.
I don't know, that's just a suggestion I have. Or if we think a separate public hearing, I mean, we could always call an emergency meeting, correct?
A
Yes.
special meeting, yes.
Yes.
We have to have our, if we so choose to write a charter, we have to have that charter submitted to the township on, before 3 days before the 9th, so it have to be at least by like the 5th of September. Because it has to go to the Board of Elections by September 9th. In order for, if we so choose to write a charter, if it would be on November's ballot. So between the 31st and the 5th,
Right.
there is a little bit of time there, 4 days, to present this to the public.
What day does that fall on?
September 5th.
Yeah. Because Christie doesn't work
September
on
5th is a Monday.
Okay, because Christie doesn't work on Friday, so
Yeah.
it'd have to be.
Yep, September 5th is a Monday.
You suggested maybe we could have one on Monday, the second. a second hearing where we can present the draft.
I mean, are we gonna advertise this in one shot? Because we have to advertise this out again, right?
Yeah,
The public hearing, I think we would have to
that has to be, I think, done separate.
redone something separately, yeah.
Yeah,
Actually, our last meeting is August 30th, not the 31st. I'm sorry, I missed the question.
Well, we're thinking about September 5th, will we be able to have a hearing on September
A
5th?
second
No.
public hearing.
No,
Same.
that, we have to have it to the
Oh, wow.
township secretary on September 5th,
Oh, on September 5th.
to give her time to get it down to the Board of Elections by September 9th. So we would have to, if we were going to have a second hearing, we'd have to have it between the 30th
Yeah,
and September 4th.
and the 5th is a Monday.
Yeah.
I think we can actually table our second public hearing until after we decide whether we're gonna write a charter or not,
I
Okay.
agree with you.
Yeah. Okay.
which will be decided August 4th.
okay, we can do that. Make a
Okay.
motion to table it till the next meeting.
Second, Bill.
All right, I make a motion to go over the new business, which was August, and that was it on that. Make a motion to go over the committee reports.
Committee reports, I have a treasurer's report here so everybody knows where our money's going. I wrote on it and folded it in half and lost it.
Is it in the envelope out front, huh?
Excuse me?
The envelope?
No.
I
Out
have
there,
it
that
here.
one there is a bill.
Yes. I hate when I'm wrestling through papers. I'm sorry.
You got it up on here, you just did it.
We have, it's like $114.50 left in our donations. Left in our kitty, and that's not including what we have here. I don't know where that paper went, and I apologize. It's gotta be here somewhere. And I have another bill here. So we have $119.75. And I
That's-
have the breakdown here folded in half somewhere. We have another bill here from the township for advertising. We have a balance left with them of 64 cents. And a bill here for $54.58. I make a motion to pay that
I'll second that motion.
out of our donation money.
Why don't you bring it up on here?
I'll find it. Who seconded that?
I did.
Okay.
All right, make a motion to open up to public comments.
I think it should be brought to everybody's attention that it has not actually cost the township any money so far. And people have been very nice in donating and will keep donating, I'm sure.
Yes,
You
we
guys
have
are doing a good
the
job.
Home Rule Study, as Marcia was saying, the Home Rule Study Commission has not taken, as to date, one single dollar from Highland Township taxpayers. Everything that we've spent so far has been in-kind donations. So we've been doing pretty good at getting donations and fundraising.
All right, make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that motion.
Remind people to come to the meeting and the picnic.
Yes, our public hearing will be on July 31st. Along with that, there will be a picnic held out in the baseball field. And we'll just have hamburgers and hot dogs and everybody can bring a dish to pass. Thanks for coming.